Hello, welcome back to Q&A with RF Smart. My name is Sarah Archer. I'm your host, and today we are going to be talking about campus stores and the use cases for ERP and WMS and campus stores. With me, I have Justin Kroll, who is a NetSuite sales representative from RF Smart. He's going to talk a little bit about his experience. He's had years and years of experience with NetSuite. He's going to talk about his experience with campus stores and some of the things that you should look for if you're thinking about implementing an ERP or WMS into your facility. So with that, Justin, thank you for being here. I'll let you tell everyone a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get started with our discussion today.
I appreciate that. So a little bit about myself. So I am a sales executive over here at RF Smart. As you mentioned, I do have several years experience working in the retail and bookstore industry space, both on the ERP and WMS side. So really excited to dig in today and talk a little bit more about, what are important to bookstores and where they can really derive some ROI.
So, Justin, I think we should just go ahead and jump right into it. What should campus stores be looking for when they are selecting an ERP and a WMS?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think with this, it really becomes threefold. The first being safety and security, especially with most campus stores and bookstores being affiliated with universities, making sure that that information is secure is of the utmost importance. The other point being ease of use, trainability, especially in this space, there does tend to be a little bit of turnover. So making sure that those that are coming in can quickly learn the system and start to be effective in their day-to-day job. And the last, of course, being accuracy and making sure that what's being done in the day-to-day is being done correctly and to the utmost accuracy.
Justin, as you mentioned, you've worked with several campus stores in the past, and while all of those are different use cases and different scenarios, there are certainly some commonalities that stand out about those different campus stores. So, could you just tell us what are some of the common pain points experienced by campus stores?
Yeah, absolutely. So to talk about a little bit of a point I previously touched on here is the training. A lot of time in campus bookstores is spent on training due to employee turnover. When you're thinking about these bookstores, a lot of times it's the students on campus that are most of the employees there, not all, but most. And as they turn over, they need to train up these employees and make sure that they know how to use the systems. So really making sure that you have a system in place that's easy to use. With RF Smart specifically, we use devices that essentially look like smartphones in the campus and retail space. So it really requires little training. It's color coded and guides them through the retail store. Now, the other portions as well are issues with picking on the floor, right? Because a lot of times, these individuals are walking around with a piece of paper in hand. And as they're going and picking it and putting it in a tote or a cart or even holding it in their hand as they're walking through, sometimes it gets a little difficult and something doesn't get marked off or, they really don't see what they're picking. So with that, having a device and a user experience where you get real-time feedback and you can see what you've picked, what still needs to be picked easily is extremely important as well. And then the last portion as well, touching on that accuracy piece, right? Making sure that you're accurately labeling and accounting for your inventory, because at the end of the day, your costs that you're accruing from your inventory, where it's going, making sure that you're shipping accurately and not dealing with many returns is incredibly important to bookstores, especially with the margins. So making sure that you're being as accurate as possible and maximizing your profits there.
Justin, the people who are watching this video may not be the people who have to make the final decision, right? They may have to go to a CFO, a CEO, somebody higher up and say, hey, here's the use case. Here's what we want to do. We want to purchase this technology. We want to use it in our facility. Of course, with that, we want to be able to present ROI, return on investment. What are you going to be getting out of this? And so, what are some of the things that supply chain professionals or even C-level professionals could expect to see by implementing technology like NetSuite or like RF Smart?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the first thing we have to talk about is, how it helps expand that e-commerce offering, especially with the generations that are coming up and, what we just went through as as the globe went through the pandemic there, making sure that there's more and more of a desire for this fulfillment of delivery and in-store pickup. So, how do you expand that e-commerce presence? How do you equip your employees with the tools that they need that makes pivoting towards delivery and in-store pickup easier? Also, from a picking and shipping accuracy, how are you making sure that you're not eating those costs that you're taking on when returns come back because of a misship or a mispick, and making sure that you're as accurate as possible in those areas. The other piece that I always like to touch on is employee productivity, right? How do you make sure that the employees that you have are being as productive as they can day to day, and also making it a way that's fun. So being able to pick these orders as they're coming in real time, making sure, let's say for example, they have a little bit of downtime. Giving the managers the ability to walk up to their employees and say, hey, now that we have a minute here, why don't we do some cycle counting and make sure that what's on the floor is actually what we have in the system, and being able to do directed cycle counts and really check your inventory accuracy that way while there might be a little bit of downtime. Also from just a gamification standpoint, what data are you pulling in that you could use and really kind of gamify your fulfillment and make it fun for the employees? There's several examples of this. What I would suggest is, Sarah, you had a great podcast with Pet Shop. I'd really suggest checking that out, and learning a little bit more about how they utilized RF Smart and the data that they were gaining through that to gamify, their warehouse and really increase productivity there.
Well, Justin, thank you so much for these different points that you presented. Of course, these are just a small piece of what it looks like to implement an ERP and a WMS and some of the results that you can expect. So, if you are interested in learning more, I'd invite you to check out our website at rfsmart.com. I'm also going to leave that podcast linked for you so you can check that out to learn a little bit more about potentially gamifying your systems. And then, of course, we have some other great resources such as blogs that I will also leave linked for you so that you can check those out. Justin, thank you so much again. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you again soon.